Your mind is like a muscle. You must build it through the pursuit of meaningful goals, acquisition of knowledge, and time to do nothing. I used to be fully engrossed in the hustle culture world, a world that promotes 24/7 work and optimizing every single area of your life to get stuff done. That used to be me. 16-hour days, every waking second optimized for productivity and all the rest. And still, to this day, as much as I am out of the hustle culture world, a part of me will always be drawn to it. I love hard work, and even though I don't work as many hours as I used to, when I work, I work. So the idea of working all day, devoting myself to achieving a single goal with absolutely no second spent on anything else is a tad romantic to me. I don't know what it is, but I will always love that idea, but I find it doesn't actually work out that well in real life. For context, I now on average work between 2 to 4 hours a day. Now sometimes I will choose to work more, but with working 2 to 4 hours a day, I now make more progress and more money than I ever did working 12 to 16 hours a day. And it all changed about 3 years ago when I came across a book called Deep Work by Dr. Cal Newport. So in the book, which I highly recommend, he discusses his theory of high quality work. 4 hours of deep work per day, split into 60 to 120 minute blocks of fully focused work on an important task with zero distractions. Now initially when I read the book, it sounded too good to be true, you know, like how can you make any sort of substantial progress working 4 hours a day? But it lines up with the science. Your best quality work will be done in a state of flow and focus. This is when all of your cognitive attention is on a specific task on the edge of your challenge skill balance. This state of flow and focus that you're in is facilitated by a combination of neurotransmitters such as dopamine, norepinephrine, acetylcholine, to name a few. Now your body only has a limited supply of these neurotransmitters and a limited rate at which it can replenish that supply. And that is the problem. Flow and focus are expensive. They use a ton of the supply and they use it at a rate faster than they can be replenished. So after about 4 hours of deep focused work, you've ran dry. You can no longer work in a state of deep focus, which means any work you do after that will be at a standard lower than your best, simply because you're not able to fully devote your cognitive capabilities to that task, to completing it. For any of the hustle culture bros out there, this is bad news. It means if you work 12 hours a day, only 4 of those hours are going to be done to a decent standard that will generate the results that you need to generate to achieve the goals you want to achieve. Now, of course, the fact that you only have 4 hours of deep focused work each day doesn't mean you can't work more than 4 hours. But what it does mean is that all your important tasks that move the needle towards your goal should be done within a 4-hour window, which can be split up throughout the day so long as it is not interrupted by other tasks that might unintentionally steal your focus. Now after that 4-hour window is up, you should not be doing your important tasks that make and generate progress and results. At least that is if you care about the quality of your work and the achievement of your goal. You can work until your heart is content on tasks that don't move the needle, but still, that doesn't mean you should fall into the hustle culture trap of working all day. Your mind is a muscle. You must treat it like one. In the gym, you lift weights to stress your muscle and break them down. This gives it a reason to grow. Outside the gym, you then sleep, you eat enough protein, you eat enough calories to let your muscles recover so that it can grow. But if you didn't sleep enough, or if you didn't eat enough protein or enough calories, what would happen? Your muscles wouldn't recover, you wouldn't get any gains, you wouldn't grow, you wouldn't improve. Your mind is the same. You have to provide it a stimulus to give it a reason to grow, and then you have to give it time and space to recover so that it can improve. Daily, meaningful and focused work. Now, if you have consciously set your goals and you've made sure that they're big and they're meaningful, the work that you need to do to achieve them each day will be hard. If the goal is big and meaningful, it will be challenging to achieve, so the work that is necessary to achieve that goal will also be challenging. And so by completing these tasks, this work, you are increasing your skill exposure and demanding effort from your mind. So this completion of the work is a stimulus for your mind, like lifting weights for your muscles. You push your mind to its limits to produce your best quality work on a cognitively demanding task, giving it a reason to improve. It's also a fantastic way to move towards self-mastery because cognitively demanding tasks have a ton of friction to starting them because they are so challenging and so hard. So the simple act of doing them, of completing them, even and especially when you don't want to, it shows your mind who's boss. It shows your mind who's in control. It shows that you are the master of your mind. Now, if you want to learn more about achieving self-mastery, click the first link in the description below to check out my Mastery OS course. Knowledge acquisition. So in the gym, you train multiple muscles. You train your chest, you train your legs, you train your back, you train everything, right? Your mind is no different. You have to train the action muscle, which we just covered, but also the knowledge muscle. Now, this requires you to increase your knowledge through research, through reading, through asking questions, through taking courses, hiring mentors, and even taking action, because some of the best lessons you will ever learn come through experience. But when you learn, regardless of how you decide to learn, your mind has to process the information through the lens of your goals. What is going to help me move towards my goals? What can I use? That act of processing the information is hard, it's challenging, it's tough, especially if the information source is dense. For example, if you read an old book, if you read a philosophy book, it can be quite dense, it's quite hard to understand. It is cognitively demanding to read. Either way, learning is hard, it's challenging. So it is a stimulus for your mind and gives it a reason to improve. Without training this knowledge muscle, which a lot of people don't do, you're left wandering in circles. You're never actually taking the right actions. Hence, any improvement you make for the action muscle is practically pointless, at least in the context of achieving your goals. Skipping this knowledge muscle of your brain is like skipping legs. You look stupid, scheduling time to do nothing. This is the part most people forget and that hustle culture has gotten so damn wrong. You would never hit the gym, ignore recovery, and then expect to make gains or even train to the best of your ability in the gym. The same goes for mental work. If you don't do nothing, if you don't prioritize recovery, your mind won't recover from the stimulus. It can't improve. So your cognitive abilities, first off, won't improve over time. You'll stay stuck. But secondly, they will be diminished the next time you sit down to work. So you won't be able to complete the work to your highest standard. Your results will be worse. Your progress will be slower and likely non-existent. And this has never been more important than now. We live in a world that glamorizes 24/7 work whilst always being connected and stimulated. I can guarantee you that if you're not scheduling time to do nothing, you're working at only a tiny percentage of your potential. The mental bodybuilding split. If you go to the gym, you follow what's called a training split. It's essentially how you divide up the muscle groups that you're training over the week. So the days that you're training what muscle. You could do push-pull legs, you can do upper lower, you can do full bodies, or countless numbers of alternatives. With getting mentally jacked, it's just like getting physically jacked. You also need to follow a split. Luckily though, your mind recovers fast. It means you can follow a 7-day split where you do this every day of the week. Now you don't have to, you could do it 3 days a week, you could do it 5 days a week, you could do it 6 days, but I do recommend daily because of the power of compounding and momentum that you will experience if you do it 7 days a week. Exercise 1 to 4 hours of meaningful work. What I mean by meaningful work is focused, deep, or creative work on the tasks that will move you towards your goals. If you have consciously chosen your goals correctly and made sure that they're big and meaningful, the work that you have to do to move toward them will also be meaningful. Now, this work should also be done as early as possible in the day in a distraction-free room with no phones and no other people, because the sole goal when you're doing this is to do the task. Now, ideally for the best results, especially over time, you would do this for 4 hours a day, but of course you might not be able to for whatever reason, work, family, whatever it is. So at the very least, you should be doing this for at least 1 hour and preferably at least 2 hours a day. It'll move you towards your goals way faster than anything else, whilst also stimulating your mind enough to give it a reason to improve. Exercise 2. 1 hour of knowledge acquisition. You need to improve your knowledge base. It will allow you to think better, make better decisions, take better actions, get better results. So every day spend 1 hour learning, whether you're taking a course, whether you're reading a book, watching YouTube videos, podcasts, whatever it is, just learn. Now, ideally what you're learning is going to be relevant to your goals. So it's something specific around a certain problem you're having moving towards your goals so that you can actually apply what you learn in your work blocks. And again, 1 hour of this is ideal. If you're spending any more than 1 hour on the knowledge acquisition, you're wasting time, because taking action is always going to be more valuable. So you would always rather dedicate more time to taking action if you're able to spend more than 1 hour learning. Now again, if you really can't for whatever reason spend 1 hour a day learning, do what you can, spend 30 minutes, just find time and learn. Recovery. 1 hour of nothing. This is crucial, and it's where most people go wrong. They don't do this, or what they do is that they say they do this, but in reality they're spending their time scrolling the internet, doing whatever, consuming information, and not actually doing nothing, because that is not how this works. Your mind needs time and space to think in silence. You either sit in a room alone, you go on a walk, you journal, you meditate, whatever it is, okay? That is the only options. You have 4 options. You go on a walk, you sit in a room alone, you meditate, or you journal. In this 1 hour a day, you have no other option, okay? You must sit in silence and give your mind the time and space to think and to breathe. You have to remove all stimulation that is not generated by your mind itself. Now, this 1 hour does not have to be all at once. It doesn't have to be a single 1 hour block. You can split it up throughout your day, but it would need to be in at least 10-minute blocks to have any sort of effect. If you value your cognitive abilities, your creativity, your productivity, you need to dedicate time to doing nothing. Treat your mind like a muscle. You challenge and stress your mind with deep work, deliberate practice and research, and you let it grow and recover by scheduling time to do nothing. My friend, as always, thank you for watching. That is it for this video. Make sure you check out this video here, click that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.